Guys, thanks for joining us on the Rollin' On channel. If it's your first time joining us, my name's Zach, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Today, we're going to start working on the Honda Del Sol I just picked up. Got rid of the Geo Metro. It had too many problems. If you're interested in following along on the channel, hit the subscribe button. And there's a new project pretty regularly. It's fairly sporadic from week to week, but it usually involves something with a motor or something that's relatively rusty. Anyhow, I have on my mind right now for a winter project making an RC boat out of either a weed eater engine or a chainsaw engine. I think that would be pretty fun. Anyhow, guys, I really appreciate you being here, and if you like rusty things, if you like loud things, if you like giving really old engines and other cool things a new life, then you came to the right place. Nice idea, but it just ended up being a little bit of a lemon. Rockers are really soft and would end up needing replaced, and I was hoping that there was just going to be a fuel issue. But so I think what needs done is the valve cover needs to come off this, the valves need lapped, and they don't need shimmed or anything because I'm pretty certain that this engine has hydraulic lifters, but at minimum the valves would need lapped and I would need a new head gasket on here, and I'm trying to sell it on the internet and no one really wants it for that reason. So I might just end up having to fix it after all, which wouldn't be too bad. It's kind of a cool car. But the main priority now is the Honda, since that's a much nicer vehicle. I'll just fix this up with the intention of selling it at some point. I'll probably get what I paid for it back out of it, but that certainly won't account for my time. This isn't looking quite right either, is it? The dash is kind of cracked. It's kind of worse for the wear in here. Surprisingly though, the top isn't in too bad a shape. Well guys, just picked up this new car. 93 Honda Del Sol. Really nice shape, no rust. The guy that had it before me definitely took care of it. It's undercoated and everything. This one here is the 1.5 liter. It's a little over 100 horsepower. It's not even the VTEC. But it also has an automatic transmission, which I'm not that happy about. This jack just barely fits under this car. Literally every time I jack up the car, I have to get to loosen the lug nuts before I do it. So we'll see how this goes. I don't want to hurt the transmission. Alright, so this whole fork has to come out of here. Oh. It's moving. Those are both free. Now I need to work on getting this bottom pin out of here. Now the last thing I need here is for this clamp to come loose that holds this fork onto the coil, or the strut I guess. That went pretty easy. I'm gonna get some PV down in here, make sure this thing's moving around. See how these come out. Nothing to it. Alright, I'm going to let this on here just so that this coil when that bottom fork comes off, that this just hangs by these bolts and doesn't fall out. Alright, I'm just going to put a nut back on here so that when I pound this through I don't screw up the threads. Oh, that kind of went easy. Hey, Dad. Ow. Bolt came out pretty nice. Oh my. Just came right out. Those are definitely roughly the same thing, so I'll have the old in with the new. You serious, dude? Why wouldn't you make that the same size? Okay, let's get this fork back in here. Okay, put some grease on this before I put it back in so it keeps moving. I'm gonna put a little bit of this on all the threads just because I might have to get these out again, and I live in Pennsylvania. Spec on this lower bolt is 47 foot-pounds, probably a little bit higher because of anti-seize, but I'm not going to worry about that. Okay.
That's a nice spot for the lady. Out your way, but keep me your company.
Yeah.
I love it when my wife do that. Don't say nothing, babe. You want a wrench? Babe, you want me to help you do this? Have a good one.
You too.
Just like that other bolt, I'm just going to put a little bit of grease on here. This is the pinch bolt for the strut. Little dab of anti-seize on there. That's all it takes. And this pinch bolt is 32 foot-pounds. Again, probably a little bit higher than that. Probably something like 40, just because I put anti-seize on there, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, that's good. I'll throw these bolts back in for the brake line. It's good. Do the other one. Good. Torqued these to 45. They're actually 13 millimeter nuts. I assume these are the same diameter and thread pitch and everything, but they were 12 before. I just torqued these to 45 because it felt about right, and I didn't put any anti-seize on these because I don't think they're going to end up rusting. They should be fine. One thing that's concerning about this whole thing is this arm here hits on the suspension, so I'm hoping that when I put the wheel back on, this kicks out this way a little bit and doesn't make contact with this shock. And if it does, I'm going to have to pull this all back apart and put that back in there. This thing was dropping slowly, this jack. I heard it creaking, so I tossed that wood in there just in case. And I can't get the wood back out until I lift the jack up a little bit, so it's probably a good thing I put that in there. Probably wouldn't hurt to take the negative off the battery before I do this. Okay. So I'm gonna put really nice NGK plug wires in here. All right, let's get this valve cover off. These plugs are brand new. 15 years ago, brand new. All right. Okay. I'm 100% reusing this valve cover gasket. Looks pretty clean in here. We're gonna pull off the power steering pump. Oh. All right, this is how you break things. That 1/4-inch ratchet's like a whole 8 teeth. Yep, this seems fine, huh? Oh, it's moving. Look at that. There's the top bolt. There's the bottom bolt. Pop this power steering belt off. You can take this the rest of the way out. Okay. You can probably just let that sit there, huh? Power steering pump will come right out of here. That should hold. I don't want to have to disconnect any of the, the hoses on the power steering pump. Alright, now let's take off the timing cover, timing belt cover. Oh. It's in there good. I'm worried about breaking the plastic off here. It went. Hopefully it didn't break. That one came too without breaking. Had to run to Lowe's to pick up this 17mm deep well. I have the 3/8 deep well set that goes up to 15, and I have the 1/2-inch deep well set, but it starts at 18. So they don't give you a 16 and a 17 in the Craftsman sets. I had to buy them individually for 10 bucks. I'm moving this entire car. I have it sitting on a jack stand, but I'm worried about pulling it off the jack stand with what I'm doing here. Maybe some PV blaster. Oh, it came. Oh. Oh, there it is. Now I just have to get the other one. Now I have PV blaster on my timing belt, so that's good. Oh. Okay. Well, let's see if I can get the bolt for the motor mount out of here. Okay. It's coming. Now this motor mount will come out just like that, and then I'll be able to slip the timing belt right off of there. Gotta start putting more teeth in these ratchets. Come on, buddy. or this coolant line almost has a hole in it from someone in there with an impact before. There, just like that. All right, now I'm gonna loosen this bolt for the AC compressor. Okay, this pulley has a slot on it, so now I think I have to loosen this. Not here. Now that this tensioner's good and loose in here, just pop that belt off the tensioner, and I can just leave it on the AC compressor down there, and I can pull that off the crank pulley. Now that screw on the right there runs on a slot that you can't really see and pivots off this bolt, so if I loosen that, the alternator will come to the left, and then I'll be able to pull that belt you see down there off the alternator. And then that crank pulley that had a billion belts on it, one for the power steering, one for the AC, and one for the alternator, will all come off, and then the last thing on there will be the timing belt, and we'll deal with that once we get all these off there. I got a little bit ahead of myself here, but you see that rusty bolt to the right of that belt? I loosened that, and the alternator's on a hinge there on the bottom. And once I cracked that loose, I almost blew out my shoulder because it let go on me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I looked online and I guess these engines spin counterclockwise, so we're gonna try to get this thing off of here with this 1/2-inch impact. So no luck with the DeWalt impact. This is supposed to be 350 foot-pounds. Alright, so in here we have these 2 bolts through the crank pulley, and then we have a crowbar going to the floor. A couple of 1/2-inch extensions that come out to this jack stand, and then like a 2.5-foot breaker bar, maybe 3 foot, hooked to this piece of steel pipe with a piece of angle iron welded to it. If this doesn't do the trick, I don't know if that bolt's ever going to come out. I hope this works. It worked! Kudos to this Earthquake 3/4-inch cordless. I don't know how good they are, but I can tell you they are better than the 1/2-inch corded DeWalt impact. So if that says anything for you, I don't know. It's off. Right here's the oil pan, just for reference here. There's 2. Wonder if I'm still missing a bolt up top. There it is. Okay. So all these engines have marks on the timing gears that will line up your engine top dead center before you take the belt off on this bottom, and then up on the gear that drives the cams. And so right here you can see a little arrow that lines up with this little tick mark you see on the key right here. And this Civic spins counterclockwise, so I'm going to spin this until this tick mark lines up with the arrow up here, and then up top you can see this little line here. There should be one on the down on the other side. There is, down here, and those line up with the head, and that's how you know that the top of your engine's in time with the crank side of your engine. So there. Gonna same thing on the top here. Okay, tensioner pulley right there. Got to get that off. Oh. Okay. Out comes the timing belt. Okay, there, it's off the spring. I'm gonna put this bolt back in here just so I don't lose it. So what I did here is I tightened the tensioner in the fully loose position so that I can get this belt on without having to try and hold it. Okay, so I guess I read on the internet that a rule of thumb is if you're turning a timing belt, or any belt I guess, and you turn it 90 degrees and it tightens up and doesn't want to go any further, that's about where you should have it tightness wise on your belt tensioners for whatever you're doing. Again, I'm no mechanic or anything, that's just what I read on the internet. Torque on this tensioner pulley is 33 foot-pounds. And so there we are. Goes back on there. Make sure you cup it outward. There's a little lip on this. Make sure that lip goes outward so that it doesn't bite into the belt, I would assume. Good to go ahead and put these two bolts back in. That's stripped. Okay. Now, with my little Woodruff key in here, I'll slide this back on. So, got this strap wrench. It's up around the CV shaft, and we're gonna see if I can get 100 foot-pounds on this before that strap slips. Probably not. It's not really working at all, actually. I party all the time. Seems like a good tension for that belt right there. Okay. Alright, so I just got done custom fabbing this crank bolt tool. So this will grab onto the pulley so I can torque that bolt down. Alright. Alright. It's the torque right there. Didn't even bend this tool. That's pretty solid. That was good, it runs. This is about to be exhausting. I didn't think this exhaust was too bad, but look at it under here. There's just not even an exhaust here. Ears dust. Faux shizzle my nizzle. Okay. Alright, the impact doesn't fit. I honest to Gucci don't know what to do about this. I'm trying, dude. That is not supposed to be like that. They said I can come in anytime for a tetanus shot. I can feel that needing to happen very soon here. They say that insurance doesn't cover it until you have an accident. And I'm like, oh, well, I will have an accident, so I'll just get it then. You know what's not good for gas tanks? Firing sparks up into them. Oh! I'm literally cutting through the frame with a Sawzall.